Tonight, take a slow, comfortable breath. Allow your thoughts to drift away like gentle waves upon a quiet sea. Imagine yourself leaving the busy streets of ancient Rome behind. The noise of crowded markets slowly fades. The sound of marching soldiers disappears into the distance. Ahead of you, the Mediterranean Sea stretches as far as your eyes can see. Its calm blue waters sparkle beneath the first light of dawn. A cool sea breeze brushes across your face. The scent of salt fills the air. Wooden ships gently rock against the harbor docks. Their ropes creak softly with every movement of the tide. Seagulls circle high above. Their calls echo across the quiet morning. You are not a merchant. You are not a wealthy passenger traveling for pleasure. Instead, you are about to become a sailor aboard a Roman warship. Life at sea is nothing like the peaceful paintings found in history books. It is a world of discipline, endurance, and constant uncertainty. Long before sunrise, the harbor is already awake. Workers carry barrels filled with fresh water. Others load sacks of grain, dried fish, olives, and hard bread onto waiting ships. Blacksmiths inspect iron anchors. Ship carpenters carefully check every wooden plank. Nothing is left to chance. A single weak board could become a disaster far from shore. Standing before you is the vessel that will become your home, a Roman galley, long, narrow, and built for speed. Its wooden hull stretches gracefully across the calm water. Rows of long oars rest silently along both sides of the ship. Above them rises a single tall mast carrying a neatly folded square sail. At the bow, a heavy bronze ram extends beneath the waterline. It is the ship's greatest weapon. In battle, this powerful ram is designed to smash directly into enemy vessels. But today, the sea is peaceful. The ship rests quietly, almost as though it is sleeping. The captain walks slowly along the deck. He says very little. His calm expression tells you everything you need to know. Discipline keeps a Roman warship alive. Every sailor has a duty. Every mistake places the entire crew at risk. You step aboard for the very first time. The wooden deck shifts gently beneath your feet. At first, the movement feels strange, unsteady. Your body instinctively searches for solid ground. Experienced sailors smile quietly. They remember feeling exactly the same on their first day. Soon, your legs will learn the rhythm of the sea. The first lesson begins immediately. Every piece of equipment has its place. Ropes must remain neatly coiled. Shields are stacked carefully along the sides of the ship. Spears are secured inside wooden racks. Water barrels are tied tightly so they cannot roll during rough weather. Order is everything. The crew gathers near the mast. The captain introduces the officers. Each man has years of experience at sea. Their voices remain calm, clear, confident. One officer explains the rules. No unnecessary shouting. No fighting among the crew. No wasted food. Fresh water is more valuable than gold once the shoreline disappears. You nod silently. The seriousness of life aboard the ship becomes clear. Soon, the ropes securing the vessel are untied. The sailors push gently against the dock. The galley slowly drifts into open water. The harbor grows smaller behind you. The great buildings of Rome slowly fade into the morning haze. Ahead, only the endless sea remains. The captain gives his first command. The rowers take their positions below the deck. Each man grips a long wooden oar. A drummer sits near the center of the ship. He raises two simple wooden sticks. Then, tap, tap, tap. A slow, steady rhythm fills the ship. The oars enter the water together. Pull, lift, forward. Again, every movement is perfectly synchronized. The ship begins gliding across the calm sea with surprising speed. Above deck, the sail is raised as the morning breeze grows stronger. The large square sail catches the wind. The ropes tighten. The mast creaks gently. Now, wind and muscle work together. The Mediterranean carries you farther from land. Hours pass peacefully. The water shines beneath the bright sun. Flying fish occasionally leap across the surface. Dolphins appear beside the ship. They swim effortlessly alongside the bow before disappearing beneath the waves. Some sailors smile. They believe dolphins bring good fortune. Others simply continue working. Life aboard a Roman warship leaves little time for superstition. By midday, The sun stands high overhead. Its warmth reflects from the calm water. The sea seems endless. Blue above, blue below. You help inspect the ropes holding the sail. Another sailor checks the mast. Others clean the deck using seawater and stiff brushes. A clean ship is a safer ship. With left wet for too long begins to rot. Salt slowly damages everything it touches. Constant maintenance never ends. Lunch is simple. A piece of hard bread, salted fish, olives, perhaps a few dried figs. Fresh water is carefully measured. Every sailor receives only enough to remain healthy. No one wastes a single drop. As afternoon slowly arrives, the wind begins changing. Dark clouds appear far beyond the horizon, almost invisible at first. The captain notices them immediately. Experienced sailors quietly exchange glances. The calm sea will not remain calm forever. You look toward the distant clouds. The breeze feels cooler now. The waves begin rising ever so slightly. Nothing dangerous. Not yet. But every sailor aboard understands one important lesson. The sea decides everything. Not the captain. Not the emperor. Not even Rome itself. Out here, nature always has a final word. As evening approaches, the sun slowly sinks toward the western horizon. Golden light dances across the gentle waves. The sail glows softly in the fading sunlight. Far behind, the coastline has completely disappeared. You are surrounded by water in every direction. For the first time, you truly understand how small one ship can feel upon such a vast sea. Night quietly begins to fall. Above you, the first stars appear. Tomorrow, the real challenges of life aboard a Roman warship will begin. Morning arrives quietly upon the Mediterranean Sea. There is no rooster to announce the dawn, no village bell, no familiar sounds from the streets of Rome. Instead, you awaken to the gentle rocking of the ship, the soft creaking of timber, the steady splash of waves against the wooden hull. A cool breeze carries a scent of salt through the open deck. Above you, the sky slowly changes from deep blue to soft shades of orange and gold. The sea seems endless, perfectly calm, almost like polished glass. For a brief moment, it feels peaceful enough to forget where you are. But aboard a Roman warship, the day begins early, very early. An officer walks quietly across the deck, waking the crew. There is no shouting, no panic, only routine. Life at sea depends upon discipline. Every sailor follows the same schedule. Every morning begins exactly the same way. The first task is simple. Inspect the ship. You walk along the deck, checking ropes carefully. The thick hemp lines have become damp during the night. They must remain tight. Loose ropes can quickly become dangerous when strong winds arrive. Nearby, another sailor examines the large square sail. He searches for small tears in the fabric. Even a tiny rip could grow much larger during a storm. Others inspect the wooden mast. The long voyage places enormous pressure on every piece of timber. Constant repairs are simply part of daily life. After the inspection comes breakfast. It is modest. A piece of coarse barley bread, a few olives, some dried cheese, fresh water measured carefully into a small wooden cup. Nothing more. Food aboard Roman warships is practical, not luxurious. Every barrel must last until the next harbor. Fresh fruit quickly disappears. Fresh meat is rare. Salted fish and dried grain become trusted companions during long voyages. After breakfast, the drummer takes his place once again. The captain wishes to make good progress before the afternoon winds begin to change. Below the deck, the rowers sit shoulder to shoulder. Each man grips the smooth wooden handle of his oar. The air below feels warmer. The smell of wood, seawater, and hard work fills the narrow space. Then the drum begins. Tap, tap, tap. Every stroke must match the rhythm perfectly. Too fast, the crew grows exhausted. Too slow, the ship loses speed. The drummer's steady beat becomes the heartbeat of the vessel itself. You soon discover that rowing is much harder than it appears. Each oar is long, heavy. Every pull demands strength from your arms, shoulders, and back. Within minutes, sweat begins forming despite the cool morning air. Still, the The rhythm continues. Pull, lift, forward. Again, no one speaks. Everyone breathes together. The sea itself seems to move in time with the drum. Hours pass slowly. Above deck, the officers navigate using the position of the sun. Roman sailors possessed no modern compass. Instead, they study nature, the stars, the wind, the movement of waves, the flight of seabirds. Experienced captains know the Mediterranean remarkably well. Certain coastlines remain within sight whenever possible. Traveling too far into open water increases the risk of becoming lost. By late morning, the breeze strengthens. The captain orders the sail fully raised. The large square cloth catches the wind immediately. The ropes tighten. The mast groans softly. Almost instantly, the rowers receive a welcome command. Rest your oars. A quiet sigh of relief spreads below deck. Now the wind carries the ship forward. For a little while, human strength is no longer needed. You climb onto the open deck. The fresh air feels wonderful after hours below. The sea sparkles brilliantly beneath the sunlight. Far ahead, a small island slowly appears upon the horizon. Rocky cliffs rise directly from the water. White seabirds circle overhead. One officer explains that sailors often recognize islands long before they can see the mainland. These landmarks help confirm the ship's position. Navigation is as much memory as science. Around midday, the crew begins cleaning the vessel once again. Buckets of seawater are poured across the wooden deck. Brushes scrub away salt, sand, and dirt. Weapons receive careful attention. Spears are checked, shields cleaned, swords lightly coated with oil to prevent rust. Even during peaceful voyages, a Roman warship remains ready for battle. Pirates sometimes appear without warning. Enemy fleets may be encountered far from friendly ports. Preparation is constant. The afternoon sun grows warmer. Some sailors repair fishing nets. Others mend worn clothing using bone needles and coarse thread. Nothing aboard the ship is wasted. Broken equipment is repaired whenever possible. Replacement supplies may be weeks away. As the hours pass, clouds begin gathering once more. This time, closer. The breeze changes direction. The sea loses its smooth surface. Small waves begin tapping more firmly against the hull. The captain studies the horizon carefully. He gives several quiet commands. The sail is partially lowered. Loose equipment is tied securely. Water barrels are checked once again. No one appears frightened. Storms are simply part of life. Experienced sailors prepare long before danger arrives. The first drops of rain fall gently, then stop. The clouds drift past without growing larger. Within an hour, blue sky returns. The crew smiles quietly. Today, the sea has chosen mercy. As evening approaches, dinner is served. Another piece of bread, salted fish, perhaps a few dried beans cooked earlier over a small clay stove protected from the wind. The meal is simple, yet after a full day of rowing and maintenance, it feels satisfying. Night arrives slowly across the Mediterranean. The sail hangs quietly in the gentle breeze. The sea once again becomes calm. Above, thousands of stars appear one by one. Without city lights, the night sky feels endless. An experienced navigator points toward familiar constellations. The Great Bear, or Iron, the North Star. These ancient lights have guided sailors for countless generations. Long before maps became detailed, the stars showed travelers the way home. You wrap your cloak tightly around your shoulders. The night air has become surprisingly cool. A few sailors begin their watch. Others quietly settle onto simple blankets laid across the wooden deck. There are no comfortable beds, only the steady movement of the sea beneath you. You close your eyes. The ship rocks gently from side to side. The waves whisper softly against the hull. Tomorrow, the sea may remain peaceful, or it may reveal another side of its endless character. Out here, no one truly knows. Only the sea itself decides. Several days have now passed since your journey began. The Roman coastline has long since disappeared. In every direction, there is only water, an endless blue horizon stretching beneath the open sky. At first, The vastness of the Mediterranean felt beautiful. Now, it feels humbling. You realize just how small one wooden ship truly is. The morning begins as usual. The sea is calm. A soft breeze fills the square sail. The rowers rest while the wind gently carries the galley forward. Some sailors repair worn ropes. Others polish bronze fittings along the ship's bow. Life aboard the vessel follows a steady rhythm. Every task has its place. Every sailor knows his duty. Then, one of the lookouts calls from the mast. Sail on the horizon. Every head turns toward the distant sea. At first, you see nothing. Then, slowly, a tiny dark shape appears against the bright water. The captain calmly raises a polished bronze tube to shade his eyes. He studies the distant vessel for several long moments. Finally, he lowers it. "Merchant ship," he says quietly. A gentle sense of relief spreads across the crew. Not every unknown sail brings danger. Still, Roman sailors never become careless. The sea rewards preparation. By midday, dark clouds begin gathering in the west. Unlike yesterday's harmless clouds, these feel different. The wind becomes stronger. The air grows cooler. Seabirds that follow the ship all morning suddenly disappear toward the distant shore. Experienced sailors notice these signs immediately. The captain wastes no time. Lower the sail. The crew moves with practiced speed. Heavy ropes slide through strong hands. The large square sail is folded tightly against the mast. Loose equipment is secured. Water barrels are tied down once again. Below deck, the rowers prepare themselves. If the wind becomes too dangerous, only the oars will keep the ship under control. Within minutes, the first large waves arrive. The peaceful sea transforms before your eyes. The ship rises slowly, then drops again. Water crashes against the wooden hull. Spray washes across the deck. Rain begins falling. At first, only a few drops. Soon, the sky opens completely. Heavy rain pounds the ship. Visibility shrinks until the horizon disappears. Everything becomes gray. Sea, sky, rain. One endless world of moving water. The captain stands firmly near the stern. His voice remains calm. He has seen storms before. Panic helps no one. The drummer begins beating a slower rhythm. Below deck, the rowers pull together. Every stroke fights against the powerful waves. The ship creaks loudly. The wooden hull bends slightly with each swell. You grip a thick rope tightly. The deck becomes slippery beneath your sandals. Another wave crashes across the bow. Cold sea water soaks your tunic. Still, no one stops working. Buckets are passed from hand to hand. Water collecting inside the ship must be thrown back into the sea. One sailor slips. Another immediately catches his arm. Out here, every crew member depends upon everyone else. Hours seem to pass. Slowly, almost endlessly. Then, just as suddenly as it arrived, the storm begins moving away. The rain becomes lighter. The wind weakens. Clouds slowly separate. A narrow beam of golden sunlight breaks through. The sea remains rough, but its anger is fading. The captain finally nods with quiet satisfaction. The ship has survived. Once again, the crew begins repairing what the storm damaged. Broken ropes are replaced. Loose boards are secured. The folded sail is carefully inspected for tears. Maintenance never ends aboard a Roman warship. Even peaceful weather demands constant attention. The next morning brings a different kind of challenge. Training. Although the sea is calm once more, every sailor knows that Roman warships exist for one purpose: battle. The captain orders combat practice. Shields are distributed. Wooden practice swords replace real weapons. Roman Marines gather across the deck. These soldiers are different from ordinary sailors. Their duty begins when ships meet face to face. You join the practice reluctantly. The deck beneath your feet never stops moving. Balancing while holding a shield feels surprisingly difficult. The instructor smiles. "Fight the sea first," he says. "Then fight your enemy." Again and again, you practice simple movements. Step, block, strike, retreat. Everything must become instinct, because during real naval battles, there is no time to think. Nearby, The captain explains the ship's greatest weapon, the bronze ram beneath the bow. Rather than firing cannons, which do not yet exist, Roman warships destroy enemy vessels by crashing directly into them. The goal is simple: strike the enemy's side below the waterline, break the wooden planks, flood the ship. Victory often depends upon one perfectly timed impact. After the collision, Roman Marines quickly board the damaged vessel. Close combat decides the final outcome. Fortunately, today's sea remains peaceful. The training ends without incident. As afternoon arrives, a school of dolphins appears beside the ship. They leap gracefully through the waves. The sailors pause to watch. Some quietly smile. Others whisper old stories passed down through generations. Many believe dolphins guide lost sailors safely through dangerous waters. Whether true or not, their presence brings comfort. Even the captain watches them for a moment. The evening meal feels especially satisfying after such a demanding day. Bread, salted fish, dried figs, fresh water, carefully measured into small cups. Simple food, shared beneath a sky glowing orange with sunset. As darkness falls, the sea becomes calm once again. The stars return, one by one. Their reflections shimmer across the quiet water. You stand near the bow. The bronze ram cuts silently through the gentle waves. The ship moves steadily forward. Tomorrow, another sunrise will greet the crew. Another day of rowing. Another day of repairs. Another day trusting the endless sea. Because life aboard a Roman warship is never truly easy. The storms, the battles, the long voyages, they are all part of the same endless journey. And every sailor understands one simple truth. Out here, the sea always deserves respect. Many weeks have now passed since you first stepped aboard the Roman warship. The wooden deck no longer feels unfamiliar beneath your feet. Your body has learned the rhythm of the sea. Without thinking, you shift your balance as each wave lifts the ship. The constant rocking that once kept you awake at night now feels almost comforting. The Mediterranean has become your temporary home. This morning begins quietly. The sea is calm once again. The sunrise paints the water with soft shades of gold and orange. A cool breeze fills the square sail, allowing the rowers a welcome rest. Some sailors quietly eat their morning meal. Others inspect ropes worn smooth after weeks of use. Far ahead, the lookout suddenly raises his hand. Land. The word spreads quickly across the ship. After so many days surrounded only by water, even a distant coastline feels exciting. Slowly, dark hills begin rising from the morning mist. White stone buildings appear beside the shoreline. A small harbor comes into view. Fishing boats drift peacefully near the entrance. Smoke rises from homes built upon the rocky cliffs. The captain smiles quietly. The crew has reached a Roman port. As the galley enters the harbor, life suddenly becomes much louder. Merchants call to one another while unloading cargo. Fishermen repair nets stretched across the docks. Blacksmiths hammer glowing iron inside open workshops. Children run beside the waterfront, watching the great warship arrive. The smell of fresh bread mixes with the scent of salt water. After weeks at sea, the sounds and smells of land feel wonderfully unfamiliar. The ship is tied securely to thick wooden posts. Immediately, work begins. Fresh water barrels are rolled aboard. Food supplies are replaced. Grain, olives, dried fruit, salted fish. Everything must be carefully counted. The voyage is far from over. Shipwrights inspect the hull. Several damaged planks are removed and replaced. The bronze ram beneath the bow is polished until it shines brightly once again. Roman ships require constant care. Without maintenance, the sea slowly claims even the strongest vessel. You receive a few precious hours on land. The stone streets feel strange beneath your feet. After so many weeks balancing aboard the ship, solid ground almost seems to move. Experienced sailors laugh quietly. They call this feeling the sea following you. You visit the busy marketplace. Merchants from across the Mediterranean display colorful fabrics, glass bottles, spices, and beautiful pottery. Different languages fill the air: Greek, Latin, Egyptian, Phoenician. The Roman Empire connects people from countless cultures. Its ports never truly sleep. As afternoon arrives, the captain signals it is time to return. The crew quietly gathers aboard once more. The ropes are untied. The oars dip into the water. The harbor slowly disappears behind you. Another journey begins. Several days later, the sea remains peaceful. The crew settles back into its familiar routine. Cleaning, repairing, rowing, navigating. The endless rhythm continues. Then, late one afternoon, the lookout calls once again. This time, his voice sounds different, more urgent. Small ships approaching. Everyone turns toward the horizon. 3 narrow vessels are moving quickly across the water. Their sails are dark. Their movements are fast. Too fast for ordinary fishing boats. The captain studies them silently, then gives a calm command. Prepare for action. No one panics. Roman sailors train for moments exactly like this. The sail is lowered. The rowers take their places. The Marines collect shields and spears. Weapons are inspected one final time. The drummer begins beating a steady rhythm. Pull, lift, pull, lift. The warship gathers speed. The approaching vessels continue closing the distance. Some sailors quietly whisper a single word. Pirates. Pirates have haunted the Mediterranean for centuries. They attack merchant ships, steal valuable cargo, sometimes even capture entire crews. But today, they have chosen the wrong target. The Roman galley is larger, stronger, better armed. As the distance grows shorter, the pirates hesitate. They recognize the bronze ram beneath your ship's bow. They see the disciplined Roman Marines standing ready. Without warning, the pirate ships change direction. One by one, they turn away, disappearing toward the distant coastline. No battle takes place. The captain simply watches them leave. The greatest victory, he says quietly, is the battle you never need to fight. The crew slowly relaxes. Weapons are returned to their storage racks. The sail rises once more. The sea becomes peaceful again. That evening, the conversation feels lighter than usual. Some sailors tell old stories. One speaks of distant Egypt. Another remembers storms near Greece. An older sailor quietly describes seeing whales far beyond the Western Sea many years ago. Whether every story is true, no one really knows. Out here, the sea has a way of making every tale feel possible. As darkness falls, you sit quietly near the bow. The ship glides through calm water beneath a sky filled with countless stars. Somewhere far away, your home waits beyond the horizon. Perhaps your family wonders where you are tonight. Perhaps they look at these same stars. The thought feels strangely comforting. Life aboard a Roman warship is filled with long absences. Months can pass before sailors return home. Birthdays are missed. Harvests come and go. Children grow older. Parents grow gray. The sea asks every sailor to make quiet sacrifices. Yet tomorrow, the voyage will continue. Another sunrise. Another distant shore. Another endless stretch of blue water. Because for those who serve aboard a Roman warship, the sea is not simply a place to travel. It becomes a way of life. A life filled with uncertainty, discipline, and endless horizons. The voyage has lasted many months. The Mediterranean has become as familiar to you as the streets of your own village once were. You have watched countless sunrises rise from the sea. You have seen the moonlight shimmer across calm waters. You have survived powerful storms, long days beneath the burning sun, and endless nights guided only by the stars. You are no longer the uncertain sailor who stepped aboard this Roman warship for the first time. The sea has changed you, quietly, patiently, just as it changes every person who chooses to sail upon it. This morning begins differently. The air feels warmer. The wind carries a faint scent of land. Not the sharp smell of salt alone, but the soft fragrance of pine trees and fresh earth. The lookout smiles. Land ahead. Soon, a familiar coastline slowly rises from a morning mist. Gentle green hills stretch toward the horizon. White stone buildings sparkle beneath the early sunlight. Fishing boats drift peacefully near the harbor entrance. For the first time in many weeks, Home is finally within sight. The captain stands silently at the stern. He has completed many voyages during his lifetime, yet even for him, returning safely never loses its meaning. A Roman warship enters the harbor with quiet dignity. The rowers pull together one final time. The oars rise and fall in perfect rhythm. The bronze ram cuts gently through the calm water. As the ship approaches the dock, workers secure heavy ropes around thick wooden posts. The voyage has come to an end. For a few moments, no one moves. The ship itself seems almost reluctant to stop. Its wooden hull creaks softly. The sail hangs peacefully above the quiet deck. The familiar sound of waves continues brushing gently against the side of the vessel. Soon, the crew begins unloading supplies. Empty water barrels, coiled ropes, worn tools, weapons carefully cleaned after months at sea. Everything is returned to its proper place. Discipline never ends, not even after the journey is complete. You step onto solid ground. The stone beneath your feet feels strangely unfamiliar. After spending so long upon moving water, the earth itself almost seems to sway. Several older sailors laugh kindly. Every voyage ends this way. The sea takes time to leave your body. Walking through the harbor, life feels wonderfully ordinary. Children chase one another along the docks. Merchants bargain over baskets of olives and jars of wine. Fishermen repair their nets beneath the morning sun. The smell of fresh bread drifts from nearby ovens. Simple moments, perhaps unnoticed by others, now feel deeply meaningful. You realize how easily people on land forget the quiet comfort of everyday life. Later that afternoon, you visit the ship one final time. The crew is already preparing for another mission. Fresh supplies arrive. The sails are inspected once again. Carpenters replace worn planks. Blacksmiths sharpen iron fittings. The Roman Navy never truly rests. Somewhere across the Mediterranean, another convoy will require protection. Another port will need supplies. Another message must be carried across the sea. The empire depends upon these ships every single day. Many people remember the mighty Roman legions marching across Europe. They remember famous generals and victorious battles. But fewer remember the sailors, the ordinary men who spent their lives upon the water. Without them, grain from Egypt would not reach Rome. Trade between distant provinces would slow. Pirates would threaten peaceful merchants. The Roman world remained connected because countless sailors quietly crossed the Mediterranean year after year. Their names rarely appeared in history books. No statue celebrated their work. Yet their service touched nearly every corner of the empire. As evening approaches, you walk toward a quiet hill overlooking the harbor. From here, you can see dozens of ships resting peacefully in the water. Merchant vessels, fishing boats, large Roman warships. The setting sun paints the sea with shades of gold, amber, and deep orange. Everything feels calm, timeless. A gentle breeze rustles the nearby pine trees. Seagulls glide effortlessly across the sky. Far below, the familiar warship rocks gently against the dock. Tomorrow, its crew may sail once again, perhaps to Greece, perhaps to Egypt, perhaps toward distant shores you have never seen. The sea always offers another journey, another horizon, another story waiting beyond the waves. You take one final look across the harbor. The Mediterranean stretches endlessly into the distance. Beautiful, powerful, unpredictable. It has challenged you, tested your courage, rewarded your patience, and taught you one lasting lesson. No matter how great an empire may become, nature remains greater still. The wind cannot be commanded. The waves cannot be conquered. The stars continue their ancient paths, whether emperors rise or fall. Perhaps that is why life at sea changes people so deeply. It reminds every sailor of something simple: humility. As darkness slowly settles across the water, lanterns begin glowing along the harbor. Their warm light reflects gently upon the quiet sea. The sounds of the busy port slowly fade. Only the soft whisper of waves remains. You close your eyes for a moment. The rocking of the ship still lingers gently in your memory. The steady beat of the drummer, the creaking mast, the fluttering sail, the endless horizon, they have all become part of you. And somewhere beyond the darkness, Another Roman warship quietly sails beneath the stars, carrying ordinary sailors whose quiet dedication helped hold together one of history's greatest empires. Now, the harbor grows still. The wind becomes softer. The sea rests peacefully beneath the moonlight. Take one final slow breath. Listen to the gentle rhythm of the waves, and allow the ancient Mediterranean to slowly carry you into a peaceful night's sleep. Good night, Crescent Moon Anchor.